Lamar Jackson, there's a clip going around about Harbaugh sticking up for Lamar for like 2 minutes and 43 seconds. In there, he says he's going to become the greatest of all time. You look back at the middle school, high school, college, where he is, you only get better. And they're talking about criticism. I don't think I understood what he was talking about there with the criticism. Is it because of the illness, or why did Harbaugh feel like he had to defend Lamar? And what is this illness that is coming, that Lamar is dealing with, and how long is he expected to potentially be missing anything?
Well, I would say this. I think that the Ravens were criticized because they fell short. And you hear a lot of talk about Lamar, that they're sensitive to not winning in the playoffs, not getting in the Super Bowl. And I don't think it's prevalent, but it's out there. It comes up every now and then during the course of the offseason. So, look, John Harbaugh, that's his guy. So, of course, he's going to defend them. So, obviously, he must have heard something at 1 or 2 points during the offseason that he didn't like about his guy. And so he wanted to go in and let people know that he's fully behind Lamar. He's fully behind the guy that won the MVP award last year, expects more great things out of him. Again, yesterday he left with an illness. I don't know what it was, maybe a stomach bug. Lamar's had periodic things like that that happen throughout the course of his career. But John Harbaugh is always going to have his back. And that, I think, was the message there yesterday, that nobody's going to say anything about my guy when I don't believe it's warranted, and he's got to stick up for him, and that's exactly what he did.
Okay, I love it. We love Lamar. Can't wait to see Derrick Henry and Patrick Ricard behind him. I don't know what that's so much meat. That is so much. And then Andrews and Likely can just squeak out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anytime Zay can get quick. But if you put that meat back there, the box has to be loaded. And then everybody who's obviously, you got an MVP there, you got a previous MVP back there, and you got another 280-pounder right there. So everybody's going to pay attention. And then what? You just got Mark Andrews, one of the greatest tight ends, just squeaking out and just, I mean, that.
Yeah. Dink and dump.
I mean, that is, and then, you talk about hey, Baltimore, we're excited. Yeah. We are excited for the Ravens this year.
And the second year in Todd Monken's offense. So you would think that Lamar would be even more comfortable this year than he was last year.
Yeah,
he was learning it.
Yeah, and Monken more comfortable, like a whole offseason of him being like, okay, I can do shit with Lamar that nobody else on earth can do. What else can we do? We're excited for the Ravens. I love how Harbaugh has always done that. Always. Even whenever they were in their contract negotiations, Harbaugh came out and 100% chance Lamar Jackson's our quarterback next year. Yep. Whenever there was a little bit of doubt, potentially. Harbaugh with Lamar Jackson's cool. This has been a very cool kind of relationship to kind of see grow from the day he was drafted, when people were asking him to go play wide receiver and nobody believed in him, all the way through them changing their offense, moving on from Joe Flacco. Harbaugh has invested fully in Lamar Jackson, and he's still doing that. He's missed a practice with some illness. I guess Harbaugh heard some shit talk maybe towards Lamar. I think a lot of people are expecting them to go on a deep run because of how great Lamar Jackson is. How do you feel about Harbaugh and Lamar? And whenever you see those videos or hear 2 minutes and 43 seconds, he went on a rant about how great Lamar Jackson is. That empowers a player. That is good for the entire locker room, AJ.
It's great for the whole locker room, especially because he sees Lamar more than anyone. Like, he sees him every single day in, day out, through the ups and downs an NFL season might be. And he is that, like, you could tell he loves this dude, and he really truly believes in him and what he's going to do. And it made me selfishly feel much better about my Super Bowl picking the Ravens to win it all, when I hear Harbaugh stand up for his guy like this, when I know how great Lamar has already been in this league, to think that this guy's only getting better and better. Yeah, like, the Ravens are in a good spot.
When you pick the Ravens to win it all, is it strictly because of the amount of meat that they have in that backfield?
That's a big part of it. Yeah, I know when it comes down to playing those cold weather, late in the season games.
The ones that matter.
Yeah, you got Lamar with what all he can do, just enough headaches for every D coordinator in the league. But then when you think of Ricard and, Derrick Henry, like, what are we doing here? Like, these guys, they're in a great spot. And I think their defense is always going to be good, even though I know they had to get a new D coordinator.
Well, and that's the biggest thing, is what we open the show with. Like, does it matter? Because the Chiefs are so good. And
the Chiefs are so good.
That's what stinks. Like, Tony, I didn't know any of that shit.
AJ, did you hear the stats from Tone?
Yeah, a little bit. I heard,
No, you didn't, you liar.
Tone,
pretty good team.
The TV's back on behind you. Good work over there. I don't know if Bruce is running over.
Timed out,
stepping on wires. Yeah, good stuff. Can you read through those Chiefs stats again one more time?
Yeah, so last year, their offense, 21.8 points per game. Okay, that was the worst offense that Mahomes has ever had. Probably the worst offense that they've ever will have. Last year, before that, the 2022 season, when they won the Super Bowl as well, they had the number one offense in the NFL. They scored 30 points per game 9 times. They're number one offense in the NFL, 29.2 points per game. On defense is what carried them last year for most of the season while the offense was figuring it out. Number 2 points per game, number 2 yards. 8 of the 11 top tacklers are back. 10 out of 10 of the top sack men are back. They play 4 games versus the Raiders and Broncos and the NFC South, teams that we talked about that they are going to compete against. You know, you guys just brought up the Ravens, but the Ravens have 3 new starters on the offensive line who have 2 starts between the 3 of them. The Bills lost a bunch of guys. The Burrows got health issues. The Dolphins, you know, it's cold, so stuff like that. But the Chiefs, the wide receivers, the weapons, Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice. None of those guys were starting wide receivers day one for them last year. All their starting wide receivers day one last year, now they're on their 2 deep or they're number 2 on the depth chart or worse.
So the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, is what Tone's basically.
Yeah.